Santa Monica tourism takes a new turn.
Retooling the California incline.
Have you done your snout to tail check this week? If not, stay tuned.
An annual building materials and design expo hopes to have Santa Monica residents seeing green. I'll fill you in.
These stories and more coming up. I'm Tamara Henry.
And I'm Joe McDonald. Welcome to Santa Monica Update.
Santa Monica Update, your source for local news in Santa Monica.
Pet First-Aid is the immediate care given to a dog or cat who has been injured or suddenly becomes ill. It is the first step and often the most critical step in an attempt to make the animal more comfortable, lower the risk of infection, and stop further injury before complete medical attention can be given. Reporter Heather Armstrong has more.
Once upon a time in a land not too far away, my husband and I awoke to the precious face of our yellow lab, Sunny. Sunny couldn't get up off the floor, and when she tried, she literally let out blood-curdling screams. Well, Sunny was adopted from the Burbank Animal Shelter by my husband and I as our first anniversary gift to each other. And as we had many adventures and went on through the years, she had many difficulties along the way. But when she was struck with a severe back injury, I shifted gears because it was a very helpless feeling not knowing what to do when my furry kid was in need. And I left my job and started learning more and more about animal care and jumped on the bandwagon of teaching Pet First-Aid and CPR and have been doing it for 8 years now.
Denise's training has paid off. She's helped pet owners detect potentially serious health issues in their four-legged family members. By teaching them a technique she has coined the snout-to-tail technique.
It's important to do a weekly snout-to-tail check of your dog or cat so that you can find a problem before it becomes a nightmare. If your dog or cat isn't used to you touching him a lot, you may have to start working just at the head and the next day doing the paws and so on until he'll allow you to accomplish this in a 5-minute session.
In addition to knowing mouth-to-snout resuscitation, the best way to protect your pet's health is early detection. Statistics show that accidents are the leading cause of death among dogs and cats. And according to the American Animal Association, 1 out of 4 pets could be saved if just one first aid technique was applied.
Also, I had an experience a few years ago that one of my pets actually stopped breathing and her heart stopped, so I had to give her CPR, but only guessing from what I knew about human CPR.
It's funny, we all take it, I guess, for granted, especially if you've got a dog or a cat. We all just sort of, they're there. But when an emergency hits, you know, we always panic what to do, and sometimes something like this could be really handy, especially when we just talk about how pets are a part of your family.
I think that learning CPR, learning emergency first aid is critical because just as with a person, that person or that animal could die in, you know, just a very few moments. And if you have the know-how, if you have the skill to provide that first intervention, that first aid to keep them alive long enough to get professional help, that can make all the difference.
If you love your pet, you should learn first aid techniques before you need to use them. And have your safety kit prepped, stocked, and ready so it is easy to find. In the time it takes to search for these items, you may have lost the chance to save your pet. The people who attended the class tonight walked away with some invaluable tips, but the most important lesson they learned was to know their pet. For Santa Monica Update, I'm Heather Armstrong.
So pet owners can use the most basic of techniques to save their four-legged companions.
I know that so many people consider their pet a part of their family, so it's great to see that there are classes available and resources to research the subject.
And not to mention first aid kits. And if you would like an introduction to Pet First Aid, go to www.sunnydogink.com.